we live in an age where everybody wants everything quick.
Oh, yeah.
And so when we're talking about health, getting in shape, eating right, exercising, it's just hack after hack after hack. And you've become famous for calling things out and myths. But I want you to address what's underneath there. For people right now that they're not happy with where they are physically, nutritionally, energy, the whole 9 yards, what would you say to them if you were coaching them here? Coach us all to not fall for the get fit quick stuff. What would you say to them?
I would say the same advice that Dave Ramsey gives for finances, which is, these hacks, these tricks, whatever, that's the pyramid scheme. That's the multi-level marketing. Yeah. Do some people like get lucky and it works out? Yeah. But if you were going to do like evidence-based, how to like build wealth and get out of debt, you're not doing these things, right? Like, yeah, some people invested in Bitcoin and got really lucky and, made a bunch of money. Okay. But like, I'm not going to write a book about, hey, the systematic way to acquire wealth is pick an investment that pops off and just get really lucky. Like, that's not what you're going to do, right? So you're going to do the evidence-based things that on average, over the course of time, have been shown to work, right? And there is no substitute for that. Like when people will send me stuff, well, this guy says ice baths burn 1,000 calories. And I'm like, okay, do 3-minute ice bath every day and eat 1,000 more calories. Let me know how that works out for you. People don't start because like, well, I just don't have it like I don't have all the things lined up, right? And it's like, yeah, you're never gonna have them all lined up. Stop worrying about that. Like, just go do the dang thing. People wanna like, well, this diet. If I put 2 plates down in front of you, for the most part, if one is filled with junk food and another one has fruits, vegetables, lean meats, you know what's more conducive
That's right.
to your health and losing body fat, right? And feeling good. Whether it's low carb, vegan, Mediterranean, they all work because we all have examples of people who have gotten healthier doing those sorts of diets. Okay, so it's obvious that there's not one that's magic. So find something that you can be consistent with and consistently execute and stop worrying about being perfect with it.
That's right.
Just go do the dang thing.
All right, let me ask you this. I hold to a philosophy that if you get better as a person, you're going to be better as a professional. So in other words, you're going to be bringing a better version of yourself to work, which now means you got the opportunity to be your best. That gives you opportunity to win, climb the ladder, make more money, right? Financial peace. So that is our context. I want to ask you about energy because I was like, all right, I want to hear from you. I just did some research and I've interviewed several people lately and it's coming up all the time about our natural dip in energy, which is around 12 to 3 p.m. It's just our natural rhythm. Even if you're healthy, doing all the things right, there's a natural dip there. If you were going to coach professionals to keep their energy high throughout the day at work, no matter what your work is, could be very physical in nature, maybe it's not very physical in nature, but how to combat that natural dip that the body is designed that way. Thoughts on that about keeping the energy up? How are we eating? How are we exercising? What would be a quick go-to kind of, if you're doing this, you should be having plenty of energy during your day, despite the way the body's wired.
For the most part, it starts with sleep, getting enough sleep. And part of that is having a consistent sleep schedule. Like if you always do best when there's kind of a consistent routine, right? And I would say the same thing with nutrition. Regardless of how you do it, whether you do whatever type of diet, you do carbs early, you do carbs late, whatever, try to be relatively consistent with what you're doing. And I think that things will even out much better that way. And then just doing some form of physical activity. And there is some evidence that viewing some sunlight early without sunglasses, like don't stare directly at the sun, obviously, but like just be out in the sun, get some exposure to light. And even if the clouds are out, it's still better than not being out there. That can help. And, obviously if you're eating an overall healthy diet, right, that's conducive to body composition, you're eating enough protein, you're eating enough fiber, and you're getting enough fruits and vegetables, and you're just being kind of consistent, those are going to be the best ways. And then obviously like exercising, and whether that's early, late, some people, like I know if I get up and even if I'm not lifting, if I go for a walk or something like that, just for like this morning, I got up and went for a 20-minute walk just because I'm going to be sitting around all day. I'm going to be like, not really active. I know that that's going to help me feel better. And so I think that those are probably some of the best ways.
So even something physical and short in that 12 to 3 p.m. could help your body begin to kind of just get that natural energy.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like it seems counterintuitive, right? You would think, well, if your body's like a battery, you go exercise, you're gonna have less energy, right? And really, like I find, unless I'm talking about like one of my really long 3-hour sessions where I'm close to a meet, and I'm just like grinding it out, right? For the most part, I leave the gym and I feel better, feel more energized. Or if you're feeling tired, if you go outside and just go for a 15-minute walk, I'm not saying you won't still feel tired, but if like you're really like falling asleep, whatever, I do think that going and just, moving your body, it helps. And like we were talking about this earlier, what happens in the body affects the mind and vice versa.
Right. All right, next question's right here.
All right, so you gave a good synopsis of things that we need to do to stay healthy, lifting, eating healthy, knowing this plate's better than that plate. Thoughts on quality of food, organic, that type of thing. The food sources that we have, we hear a lot about it right now with what's going on in the whole landscape of everything, of tearing down the FDA, all of that. Like, what's your thoughts there? How do we get better there, but the importance of that?
I think when it comes to food quality, people actually end up focusing on stuff that really doesn't matter that much. Like if you look at the studies on organic versus non-organic, really doesn't seem to make a big difference in measurable health outcomes. Like if you like organic, fine, and if you can afford it, great. It may have like modestly more micronutrients and vitamins and minerals and whatnot, but even like people say, well, conventional farming sprays with pesticides. Organic food still has pesticides on it. They're just organic pesticides, which in a lot of cases have less testing on safety than regular pesticides. So I'm not saying that none of the stuff is a concern. I think when I look at food quality, I'm thinking about, all right, are you eating lean proteins? Are you getting enough fiber in your diet? Are you getting enough fruits and vegetables in your diet? And to me, that's like the biggest determinant of food quality. And I think one of the things I don't like about the fitness industry is we have this habit of making fitness seem like it's this upper elite echelon tier that only like really, really, really dedicated people can get. And it's like, no, why are we making the barrier to entry so high? Like I eat frozen meals all the time, that are but high fiber, they have vegetables in them. And some people would say, well, you're not eating fresh vegetables. I'm like, yeah, so I got to shoot the alligator closest to the boat, as Ron White says, which is I'd rather just get enough vegetables in. And if it means frozen, then I'm good with it. You know what I mean? And like, that's, again, people will like worry about this minutia, but then you're not even eating fruits and vegetables at all, right? Or you're worried about like the right training program, but you're not just going to the gym. Focus on the stuff that matters most. And if you are, taking care of the major things that make the biggest difference, and then you say, well, you know what, I just feel better eating organic, by all means, right? But I think for most people, that's not where they're going to get the measurable results. Like the measurable results are going to come from eating, minimally processed foods that are high in fiber, high protein, fruits and vegetables. Like I said, that's where you're going to get the most bang for your buck. And then if you want to go to some other level, that's fine. There's also a monetary consideration here too, right? Especially when we're talking about budgeting and whatnot. Like, hey, it's expensive to go, shop at Trader Joe's and Whole Foods or whatever. Like, again, don't let the enemy of good be perfect. Like, focus on getting stuff mostly right consistently over time is what I would say.